I've been tagged by Katie at Mummy Daddy Me to do the baby names tag. And I love baby names. Even though we are done having children, I have 2 girls and for various reasons we are not having any more. I still just love it. I love to hear other people's inspiration for names. It's such a personal thing, isn't it? I think it really is interesting what names people like and people don't like. So I like watching these. And I also really like that these are my choices. So should my husband have done this tag or been involved in this tag, it would be very different, because I think agreeing is half of the battle when you are naming your children. He will probably watch this and think, no, we wouldn't name our children that at all. So the freedom to say whatever I like is quite nice. I've always been quite precious with names. So when we were pregnant, I would never tell people. I wouldn't ask their opinions. We would just kind of go on whatever we wanted. So I have a 6-year-old called Eva and a 2-year-old called Roma. Eva's quite a popular name now. I think it was 24 on the baby names list, but it was outside the top 100 when we chose it in 2009, and it was actually a choice for my husband. But Roma's name is not popular at all. It's something like 4,000 I think when we chose it, and I think it's still like 3,000 or something now. And not that people are going to hear it and then suddenly everybody's going to be called Roma and it's going to be #1 next year, or that anybody would even like it. But I've always been quite precious because I love it so much, and I like that it is a more unusual name. So now I'm sort of more freeing on the names. I love boys' names because I've got 2 girls and I've not got to use the boys' names that we chose. But again, I have never really said all of the ones that I like. That's what I'm going to do today. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling and I'm going to just get on with the questions. Question number 1. What are your favourite boy and girl names off the top UK 100 list? It says 2015, but I'm going to do 2016 because it's more up to date. So I've chosen 2 girls and 2 boys. Willow, which is number 42, and Thea, which is number 35. I just really like those names. They're, again, a little bit more unusual, even though they're on the top 100, and I just really like them. They're quite pretty. The boys' names I've chosen is Aiden, which is one that I've always really liked. I know that's reasonably popular, and one of the reasons, other than not having boys, that we didn't choose it. And that one is number 27, and the other one is Seth, which is number 92. I love the name Seth, but our surname is Steer, so my husband always said Seth Steer was just too much alliteration. He kind of vetoed that quite early on. Question number 2 is your least favourite. I don't have a problem with any baby names, anybody's names. I'm not really that passionate enough to not like them, but these were just ones that didn't jump out to me and I probably wouldn't choose for my own children. So the girls, I chose Lexi, which is number 77, and Lila, which is number 80, and the boys, Tyler at 82 and Kai at 78. I think they've all got the same sort of sound to them, so maybe I just don't really like that sound. Number 3, if you had twins, what would you call them? And it's boy boy, girl girl, and boy girl. I was convinced that I was having twins when I had Eva. I had really bad pregnancy sickness, and they always say, don't they, that that's synonymous with having more than one baby. So I think we went into the scan thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to be more than one child. And they even, like, because I was so bad, I had a scan at 9 weeks because I was hospitalised with what I now know as hyperemesis, but pregnancy. And I remember that's the first thing that the sonographer was looking for, was how many were in there. And also there's twins in both my side of the family and my husband's. So I don't know, I've always been fascinated by twins, and I could see myself with them. Although now, having had a baby, I think it's quite hard work. It'd be quite hard work with twins. Anyway, so I've chosen Meredith and Olive for girl girl. I'm not really, I don't think that necessarily they would have the same letter or the same ring to it, but obviously they've got to complement each other like any siblings' names need to. Boy boy, I've chose Theo and Ted. I love the name Ted. It's kind of, my husband's name's Eddie, or Edward, So it's kind of a little bit like that, isn't it? But it's just cute. I really like it. Boy, girl, I've chosen Ada, which is one that was on the shortlist for Roma, actually. I thought it was too similar, Eva and Ada. Eddie championed it the entire way. He really loves that name. And yeah, Seth, because I still like it. Number 4, if you could change your name to anything, what would it be? I would change my name in a heartbeat. If you don't know, my name is Laura. And it's just quite, I don't want to say common, it's quite popular. I went to school with a lot of Lauras. I worked with a lot of Lauras. I have a lot of Laura friends. There's lots of blogger Lauras. It's just quite a popular name. I've got 2 sisters, 2 older sisters, and theirs aren't that, they're not unusual, but they're called Carrie and Kimberly. So they're not that usual names. And then, yeah, I was meant to be called Pippa, so maybe change to that. Or Fern, I've always liked the Fern. Don't think that really goes. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just going to move on, but I'd definitely change it. Question number 5. You have 4 children, any gender. All of their names need to start with the same letter. What would they be? So I wrote a list of all the names that I liked and just saw if there was a pattern for any of the letters. And it came out with E. So obviously I'm not going to put either in there. But the 4 that I came were Evelyn, which is a name I really love. I think it's really pretty. I also love Everly. And obviously it's quite similar to Eva, but I always wanted a shorter name because I really like the name Florence, but I didn't like the idea of it being called Flo. So I always wanted things that you couldn't shorten because I'd chosen the name and that's what I wanted the name to be. So Evelyn, Esme, Edith and Ernest. I love the name Esme. One of the reasons we didn't call Eva Esme was I didn't want the confusion, people saying it wrong. Even when Eva gets called Ava now, it's really difficult and awkward to say, oh, it's not Ava, it's Eva. So I didn't want to put that on them, even though I kind of have with Eva, but I didn't know that. And then Edith, one that we really like. Eddie definitely really liked that one. And then Ernest. Eva has a friend called Ernest at school, and other than the fact that he is a lovely, lovely boy, I just like that name. It's quite strong and soft at the same time. Quite traditional but a little bit different. Yeah, I just love that name. Question 6. What is your favourite animal inspired name? I found this really difficult. I had to have a look, and I like the name Una, which apparently means lamb. I didn't know that, but there it is. Question number 7 is a colour inspired name. I love this name. Eddie's not so sure. I know it's more popular now than it used to be, but that's the name Gray or Grayson. I really, really like that name. I think even though it's a little bit more popular, it feels a little bit different. And yeah, I just really like that. Question number 8. What are your top 3 favourite boys' names? The top boy's name is one that I'm completely in love with. Always have been. Eva was going to be called this when we didn't know what she was. So this was what she was going to be called when she was born. And we found out with Roma what she was, but this is what she would have been called, and that is Romeo. I know it's not to everybody's taste, but I absolutely love it. So yeah, that's my top name. Romeo, and then Jude, that was the second choice, and again Seth, just because I love it. Number 9, what are your top 3 girls' names? Ada, Evelyn and Willow. I know they're already ones that I've said before, but they're the top ones, discounting obviously Eva and Roma, which of course are my favourite. Number 10 is the celebrity baby name. I'm not really a celebrity focused person. I don't know what celebrities' babies are called or the latest celebrity is called. I'm not really that kind of person, but obviously from what I've said before, Romeo, that's synonymous with the Beckhams, obviously. Maybe that's why it's not popular. Maybe just people don't like it, I don't know. But yeah, so that is can only be my celebrity inspired name. Number 11, what is your ultimate guilty pleasure name? I'm not sure there is such a thing as a guilty pleasure name, is there? I don't know. But the only thing that came to mind when I thought about that was a name I really liked when we were first talking about names and that Eddie doesn't like at all is the name Fleur. I apologise if you're called Fleur, if you know somebody called Fleur, if your baby's children are called Fleur, maybe just skip past this bit. But every time I would say it, he would say it doesn't sound nice. I would say Fleur and he would say Fleur. Oh, it doesn't roll off the tongue, it's just Fleur. I won't do it again because it's a bit weird, but that's what he does. And it makes me laugh, but also I can't think of it now without him doing that. So maybe that's my guilty pleasure because I still really love it, but I couldn't call my child that because of my husband, basically. Number 12, which is sort of similar, but most hated baby names. I don't hate baby names. I really like baby names. I like the subject, everything like that, but I'm not passionate enough to actually hate a name. I think it's quite a strong word, but my take on it is the girl's name would be Lorna, and that's only because I think maybe it's my accent, maybe it's my pronunciation, but on the phone or even sometimes in emails and things, I would get called Lorna and it's irritating. So maybe that one. And then the next one is the name Barry. I don't have anything against Barrys, don't know any Barrys, but my eldest sister, if she's naming something in a game with the children or even down the street when you know, I don't know, you're talking about somebody, oh look at him, his name's Barry, it would always be Barry. It's kind of her go-to name, and well, I don't know, it sounds really weird now I'm saying it out loud, but yeah, that's what she uses as if she's going to name something. Like, I don't know, we're in a shop and you name a fish, or I can't think of any scenarios now, but it would be like, oh yes, that's Barry. So I can't imagine meeting a Barry and not thinking about that. Hope she never marries a Barry. Question 13, choose a name based on a food or a drink. I find this so hard, like really hard, but I love the name Olive, so I'm going to stick with that. I also found the name Clove when I was looking, so that's quite nice. 14, choose a baby name based on a month. It's really hard. I mean, there's only 12 of them. So I just went with May, but the spelling M-A-E just makes it a little bit more different. I don't think I'd use it, but I think it's quite a nice middle name, isn't it? My girls' middle names are D, which is the same as me, so Eva D and Roma Rose. They're quite like the kind of short middle names, so maybe May would be a nice middle name. Question 15, choose a name from a movie. I don't watch that many movies. I mean, I watch children's movies now, but my memory is really awful, like really, really bad. So it wouldn't necessarily stick in my head. But the one that does, which is probably quite popular, is the name Hermione. I don't know if I would use it myself, but I really like it. It's kind of feminine and elongated, but then you can't really shorten it. What would you shorten Hermione to? It's just quite nice. I really like it. Number 16, and the last question is choose a name that's already in your family. Eva. So obviously it's my daughter Eva, but also my great nana was called Eva. It's not something that we knew when we chose it, or something that either inspired or put us off really, but we knew it was an older name coming back, and yeah, so my mum's mum was called Eva. It's actually a name, I didn't choose it, it was Eddie. I don't know if I said before that Romeo I loved so much, and I was so convinced that I was having a boy that Eddie wasn't that keen on it. He did like it, I feel awful saying that, he did like it, but he wasn't as in love with it as I was. And I said that if I had the boy's name, then he could have the girl's name. And so again, not that I don't love the name either, but he chose it. So yeah, that's the name that's in our family. So that's my baby name tag. I feel like I could go on and on about this subject because there are lots of names that I love that didn't make it onto this list, and I could do so many more videos, but I'll leave it there for now. And I am going to tag Lara Jarvis and Katie at What Katie Said. I know that lots of people have already done this. I don't think they have, but if you want to do it and I haven't tagged you, then feel free. It's quite a fun one to do. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.